good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's Couch Conversations. Our topic tonight is Love Matters. I am Tasha Fritz, the host this evening for the Couch Conversations, and I want to take a moment to bring on our um, our guest, the guest of honor, and I want everyone to join in me with me saying happy anniversary to June and Ayana Lewis.
Hello,
Hello.
good evening.
Hello, and happy anniversary to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
26 years.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Happy anniversary.
Amen.
Hey.
Wait, wait, y'all. 26 years. Well,
26 years. Super excited.
Yep. It doesn't really seem like 26 years.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Well, they say time flies when you're having fun.
That's what they say.
You been having fun?
I've been having fun.
Me too.
wow.
Super excited. That's a long
So,
time.
June, does
Yes.
she still, do you still see the sparkle in her eye when you, or should I ask Ayana, June, do you see the sparkle in her eye when she looks at you?
I do. I can't look at them too long.
Oh, oh, shucks.
Yeah. I do.
Ayana,
So I would say, like, I still get butterflies sometimes when he does so sweet things, just sweet sometimes.
But I was just wondering how were you able to put up with me for 26 years?
Mm,
26 years you have put up with me.
mm, mm. God, how you put up with my mouth?
Ooh.
that's the question.
Oh my goodness. Tasha, you know that song that said Mama said there'd be days like this? My granny told me it's gonna be days like this. Hey, but it's all good.
That was the question. That was the question. For anyone that does not know and think that Ayana is just quiet, she is quiet, very quiet, meek
When?
and mild when she sleeps.
Right.
This is true. I can say I'm probably not as quiet as people think. I'm just shy when people meet me at first, I think a little bit. But once you get to know me and I get to know you, then
It's on.
hey, wait a minute here now. LaShawn said the Lord gave you a lot of patience.
Tell the truth and shame the what?
Oh my goodness. Well, it is now time to bring up our next guest. I want to take a moment and bring up Victor and Janice Ward. Victor and Janice Ward have been married for guess how long? 26 years. So, congratulations to you all. They are the proud owners of Advantage Care in Home Services, and they also have a nonprofit, Advantage Care Ministries. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Wards.
Woohoo! We are super excited
Hello.
to have you with us
Yes,
on
yes,
tonight.
yes, yes.
Now let me say this.
Anniversary.
I have to go back to Mickey really quick because she said that I will kill a tree and put a rock in the hospital.
Oh
You
my
right,
God.
Mickey.
Oh,
110%. She got
all right.
it.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, hello and happy anniversary to the Lewis.
Thank
Thank
you. Thank
you.
you.
Years.
Happy anniversary.
All right.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you so much.
So when is you all's anniversary?
April the 29th.
Okay.
Actually,
All
we got
right.
two. We got two.
Got
We got a May 29th also, right?
Yeah, we renewed our vows about 6 years ago.
Yes.
Okay.
'Cause the
I
first
love
ones got
it.
tore all the first ones got tore all to pieces.
The renewal. That's what's
So
up.
we did it. We
So you
did
did it
Yeah,
again.
he
They
asked
said
me
it
to marry him
second
again.
time around, that song, second
Yeah.
time around. Yeah. So that's what we on this time. It's still all together. That same 26 is 26 either way you look at it.
Right.
That's right.
So,
Wow, that's
but this
amazing.
is the better the better half of it this time. Though.
I love it.
Okay.
Yes.
That's the declaration I make of our lives. Our latter shall be greater.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
right. As long as you keep trying, don't give up.
Yep.
Keep making this cake till it come out right.
There you go.
Hey.
I often tell June, because I said this to him, that it hasn't been all good, but it definitely has been all God.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Absolutely.
It had to be all God in this war here. Woo.
Absolutely.
It has been a roller coaster.
I understand.
High notes, low notes.
Yes.
And then guess who fault it was? Mine. I had to take the most of the blame. I take it.
Gotcha.
The most important thing, we still here.
Hey,
That's right.
Right.
And
That's
we in it to win it.
Yeah.
That's right.
He held on to me.
I love it.
We talked when we started doing love and marriage. We went on and just laid everything out on the table because we know we had a lot of people might be saying, "Well, I remember when he said this or did that." So we went on and told it for ourselves.
I love it.
Nobody else that out there in the audience wouldn't have to be picking and choosing and adding to it and take away.
Yes.
So you heard it straight from us.
And I think that's one of the reasons that we love you all so much, because you're so transparent.
Yes.
And you're so open and honest. And I think that that's what's lacking in a lot of relationships. People can see you and think that it's one way when it's a whole nother way sometimes, but your openness, you're willing to share your honestness, your honesty, that really is really good.
Yeah, and it's like transparency. And transparency it just reveals you're being free.
Yes.
Exactly, Joe.
Yeah,
That's
you're
right.
being free. And as my pastor always say, when you're out of the bushes, you can shoot,
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Being free when you ain't got nothing heavy weighing down on you because the bomb might explode at any time. It feels good to be openly and totally honest with my wife, and got nothing to be hiding. If you bring up something that I thought that I had forgot to tell her, or she asked me about it, I can go ahead and start talking about it, and bring it on up the field. Still, you're hearing different stuff or getting scared when you bring up something, and wondering what's going on, So it's free. It's good. It feels good to be free.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
I think that once that has happened, you have taken a weapon out of the enemy's hands.
Exactly. You have you're right. You are totally right. Because
he's an accuser of the brethren, and when he has nothing to accuse you of.
That's right. That feels good. Because bad news and the devil love to go around starting trouble and doing that. They throw the rock and hide the hand, doing the stuff. But when they don't got no rocks to throw,
come on.
They done left us alone. The devil go to somebody else, so he think do that. But he didn't go. Janice and Vic is ready for him, ready for the devil. He comes,
I
Don't
love
call
it.
him up. Don't call him up.
I know that's right, Janice. Woo! Let him stay where he is.
Oh yeah. Yolanda. I call you Yolanda. I'm sorry. Yolanda.
I got you.
That and I talked about it took some maturity and wisdom. That's what I always walk around and say to myself now. Maturity and wisdom. Once you grow up and stuff, because when we first got married, I would say, yeah, I got married. I'm married now. Like on Color Purple. I'm married now. But didn't really know what marriage is. What I really have to take it seriously is marriage is. And and I had said at one time it was just like, I was in high school and a lot of people still that's my age and coming on up, they not matured enough. They still walking around with when I was like we was in high school in the 10th, 11th grade, we had a condom just hoping something would happen anyway. So I'm walking around in our marriage that's, and doing things and not taking it maturity, had them growed up. And I thank God that He allowed me to live as long, to grow up, my wife to stay with me as long, to watch me mature in into our marriage. Because actually she's supposed to be gone. Supposed to be gone. And
If the devil
it's
would have had his way.
yes, yes. And see, and then he would have been sitting back happy and laughing. Yeah, I got me another one. They done broke up. They divorced. But he was defeated. And because
Yes.
I truly got a grown woman that knows what she wants, willing to fight for what she wanted, and hung in there. And I thank
Let's
God for that.
go.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
had to give her prompts. I love that.
Yes.
She's straight up now. Yeah.
Thank you.
I love it.
Hey, I kind of embarrassed. She kind of snick a little bit.
Y'all look so good together.
Hey, thank you. Y'all do too. Y'all do. Y'all one of our favorite couples too. Sure is.
Well, you all have kind of made a segue into my very first question. And we know that you all have been married 26 years, but what is that secret sauce? And just listening to you all talk, communication seems to be very key. But what are some other things that you all can share with us that you would consider that secret sauce?
Well, I would say, and I went without it for years, but now that we feel renewed and recharged and remarried, um, realizing that a man need to be respected, um, giving him respect, and his respect is me staying in my place as the wife and allowing him to be the husband and the head. And that's is and it comes from the word of God. The wives respect your husband and husband love your wives. To me, that is like a key factor in our marriage. It should be in any marriage, because when you walking in that, it's just gonna flow. Not that everything, you're not gonna have some disagreements. Even when I find myself respecting Victor, respecting what you mean, um, don't just jump and do nothing myself. Always consult my husband. I didn't used to do that. I used to jump up and do things and ask him later, and it's look like it's just blowing him up. When I do, it be doing something to him when I come to him. That it don't cost no money. It don't take nothing out of me. Even through the day, and I know he in the courtroom, I text and say, "Get a minute, call me. Something going on." And I call him and say it to him. It's building him up, because, as we said, some things happened that in our marriage that caused our marriage, the distrust and all of that was there. But he see that I'm trusting him. So me respecting Victor, that's a secret sauce that I have. When I want to get some things I want, I just start just making sure he know who he is,
I
and
love it.
making him feel it. So that's one of my little secret sauce.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
Wow.
And I want to say to what Janice said, it's so important too respect your spouse. I think that that is a huge thing because you in relationships that respect is not always there. So I think that that is key. I do.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Very.
Victor, what were you going to say?
Um, to piggyback off of what Janice has said, and she said something that it really touches me and every other man out there. They wants to be respected and they want to be treated as a man. And that once my wife stopped, like talking way I felt like it was down to me and saying, and saying stuff, treating me as a husband instead of her son, you know, I mean,
Mm,
I could really feel our marriage and the relation, how everything started to grow, start to really, really, really grow
Yeah.
and stuff, you know. So that was a great piece of what is truthful what you said, treating the man with respect.
and I
That's
want to say too, I think that that is so key because once, a lot of times as women like me, I'm just going to go do it. I'm going to go handle it. I'm going to just take care of business. And then sometimes I used to just talk about it later, but now we don't do that anymore. We talk about everything before we do it. And I feel like it has helped so much because he
Oh yeah,
has so much wisdom.
yeah,
Things that I wouldn't have even thought about, he thinks about. And
yeah.
so I should have really been doing it from the beginning rather than just running out there trying to handle this, handle that. And I think that you have more, like I think for us anyway,
Oh yes,
because of that.
that's right.
Yeah, I would definitely say respect as well. It reciprocates. You have to respect our wives, just like we would love to have respect. It's also an imperative that we
Yes.
respect them as well. And another thing is that knowing or learning and knowing what's important to them.
Mm,
And
that's good.
and I've made it my point. If it's important to her, then it's got to be important to me. Regardless of how small it may be to me. If it's big enough to be important to her, then it's got to be big enough to be important to me as well.
That's
That is
good.
now that is real good right there, June, because I felt that same way even when I used to have conversation with my wife, and it was like even if I be talking about the craziest thing to her, even if it's changing a bulb or ironing a shirt or anything, I'm just making up stuff, but listen to what I got to say because if I'm saying it must be important to me to get it out so she hear it. But at one time, she usually I'd be starting off talking stuff. She either stop, change the conversation, go doing, pick up the phone, right, and never let me. So I had to stop, and then that makes you feel some kind of way when somebody don't hear you all the way out,
Hmm.
especially
Right.
your spouse. You
Exactly.
know,
Mhm.
and that's and and now that we got cell phones, that's another distraction, especially when you're going out to a restaurant and you're going together, say a date night, and you're going there. As soon as you get there, blah, 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 here go the phone ringing, in which we know that our phone might ring at any time. We keep them on 24/7. But if it ain't that important, or you tell somebody, look, I had to call you back a little later, do this and that. But Janice know that she used to have a bad habit of just going on, continuing on the talk. And I'm sitting there looking around and like playing with the forks, spoons, whatever, and got nothing to do. But now we have learned to come and we respect each other in the communication, and it's growing. It really helps.
I love that.
Very good.
So
Very
my
good.
next question for you all is what has been some of your, or maybe one or two of your greatest challenges, and how did you overcome those? June and
Mm,
Ayana, can we start with you?
mm,
Um, One of my greatest challenges that I'm still working on today, I've gotten much, much better, is communicating. Um, you know, I would have a tendency to, if something is bothering me, um, you know, I might shut down and I wouldn't have much to say. Kind of like, you know, going into a shell, if you will. But over the course of 26 years, and it took about the whole 26, and I'm still working on it, but communicating. If something is bothering me, you know, and don't communicate with body language, but verbally, um, talk about what's on my mind.
I was about to say, because his body tells it all. If something is wrong, his whole body tells it all. And so I already know what it is. And so for me, I think being hmm, like making sure I communicate with him before I just move. I think that was one of the biggest things that I really learned. I'm learning. Well, I think I have learned. I think I mastered it
I
now.
don't know. Amazon come to the house too many times this week now.
It's a little different. Amazon's a little different, you know. Click of a button.
Hey,
That's a
hey,
little
hey, Vic,
different.
they got people, places and companies that delivering stuff I ain't never heard of, laser ship and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
Ooh,
Yeah,
wait.
yeah. They can find them. They can
bringing
find
stuff
them
into the
different
house.
stuff. That's right.
That's just a little bit different. That's all I'm saying with that. But I think and for me, well, I don't know if I'm delivered in this area to even say it, but
I'll let you know.
that's probably what I'm afraid of. So like maybe spending, my spending
Oh,
probably has been
y'all grab
one of the
hands.
greatest
Let us pray.
one of the greatest challenges because I like to get what I want when I want it, and he is so gosh, whew, he is just stingy with the dollar.
Hey Vic, you know how I tried to overcome that? I said, you know what? I'm going with her, and every time she puts something in the basket, I'm gonna put something in the basket.
Oh,
And I did that, and I did that, and next thing you know, I got all this stuff. She ain't said nothing. She just so that didn't work.
Yeah, it don't matter. Matter of fact, I got real smart with it. Whenever
yeah.
I bring bags in the house, I always got something for him. So I just got real smart with it. So
Oh yeah.
So if you figure
Oh
out how
yeah.
we can tackle that, y'all let us know.
That's how she Dennis do it. Yeah. They're gonna bring me a little something back. But she got about 5 more bags too.
me too.
Yeah.
Well, he messed up when he told me money was made to spend. So I said, well,
Woo!
let's spend it then. Let's spend it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Can't
think I
tell.
think that was probably those are like our biggest challenges. I think we have I think well I can't say that I think I'm doing better. Um I thought during COVID I just did so well with my spending because I couldn't spend, but
Then they
it's
start lifting them restrictions.
Yeah.
then I realized I wasn't delivered. So
Mm.
still a work in progress. Go ahead, Janice and Victor.
Yeah. You go first.
Ask the question again.
What is what is one of the greatest challenges, or some of the greatest challenges that you've had in your marriage, and how did you overcome them?
Well, my greatest was getting to the trust.
Mm.
Um, and so badly I wanted to trust my husband. Um, and it was about it was a bad feeling. It was stressful. It was just bad. And to be living with someone
Yeah.
and you had lost that trust, but you was hearing God say, if you hold on, if you stay there, I promise you I'm going to make it right. And God made it right to see my husband get delivered, and
Amen.
then when I could trust him. But it was, I mean, when it went some years when we were together, and I hugged him and I loved him and I ate with him and I slept with him, but I didn't trust him.
Mm.
And it ate away at me. And I had to walk around in silence, like, and I'm so happy today that I did trust God and believe that God was going to see me through it.
Mm.
And I can't explain how good it is to be in a relationship um with your husband, and you
Mm.
you trust him. But I've learned that I got to trust God first, and God is a promise keeper, and I pray for my husband daily like he prayed for me. But that was one of my biggest challenges, is pressing through, not trusting my husband to get to where we are now. And I can truly look him in his eyeballs right now and tell him that I trust him. I
I
do. I
love it.
trust him. I trust him with my life.
Yes.
I trust him when he walk out the house. I trust him when he said he going to the store. I used to live like, it was just terrible. But I trust God because I trusted God. And I wanted my marriage. I really did. I wanted to fight for it, but it takes two. But I was here wanting it and didn't know he wanted to be here and somewhere else too. But I heard the voice of the Lord. And this is not for everybody, but when you live close to God and you hear God say something, God may not come through right then. I still had to go through to get to where we are now, but I'm so glad I I pressed and hung in there um through prayer and supplication. God did it. And
Thank you, Lord.
that was my, because I could communicate. I would sit here and want to talk to him about how I was feeling, and he didn't want to communicate. I was feeling this way. He said, I ain't doing that no more. It would come up in my mind real fresh or something that had happened, and I wanted to talk about it. And I knew he won't deliver because he couldn't talk about it. And God showed me. He said, there you go. That's here goes what I promised you. And until he got in that right relationship with God, he couldn't be true to me if he couldn't be true to himself and God. So that has been my biggest challenge, but and it's good now, and I'm just happy.
Yes.
Yes,
Very good.
Amen.
I
Very
love
good.
it.
Amen.
About one of the things the Bible say about love is that it's patient.
yes,
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's
So
good.
wow, that's amazing.
Yes. And I think one of my challenge was myself trying to deal with my and I knowing how Janice felt. I could see it in her eyes how she was looking. She could see it all the time in me when I won't right. So that was my challenge right there to set myself free to be and release myself. And then it's no feeling like we ever known, it to me, because I and I don't know, it just like I said, I had to come up to be mature and the wisdom that came with it. Because just because you're 21 years of age or whatever age it is you get married, don't mean that you are quite ready for that marriage. Monday morning come in. Most of the people get married on the weekends, but here come Monday morning. What are you ready for? What you plan on doing? Because it's two of you now, and I wasn't ready all the way to accept all of that. I was thinking that hey, I had been single for 33 years, and that rolled on. It just kept rolling on and rolling on, like
You thought
a
you
Rolling
was still
Stone.
single.
It was. I know I was married. I know I was married, but what I was saying, I hadn't matured
Yeah.
enough to know that, in the wisdom and sense to know that I got a wife, and this woman, you got the same thing that I was going out here trying to get to, and I had it right here at home. That's when you're talking about. That's when that wisdom set in. Ain't no need of going out here hunting for something, and you already got it there at home.
Mhm.
You already have it. It's food. It's a food. That's what I'm saying. That maturity and wisdom, because you foolish to go out here and be trying to get something and you already got it.
Mhm.
But until you mature like that and God get in you, and stuff. So my worst was myself, and then once I heard that old man, and here come the new man rose up, it feel good. So that's for me.
Very good.
I love it.
So, with so much that's going on, so many great demands that are being, with you all being pulled in so many different directions with work, with ministry, how are you all able to find time for each other? I'm going to start with awards.
We just go ahead on and just stop because God said that we, as one, is first, family first, ministry is where we go. We respect that too, but ministry, God brought us together, family, us together first. He want us to family. So we does things in order. We know if we got church here, we know we work around that, but we also something come up, we might have to miss that. We wake up Sunday morning and somebody's sick in our family. It's no need to break our necks to get down there to the church, and where we can be doing ministry in church right here with the person that needs us right now. That's the way I look at it. You just got to keep things in perspective and in order. Me and my wife, we decide we want to go to the movie. We does everything. You know, I have heard my wife say sometimes you know you can let it the church and stuff put so much pressure on you that it can destroy what God had put together. And He said, "Let no man put asunder." Do that. So for us, here I tell my wife I want her to go with me to something that is had planned and it's very important. And she'd have been to church that morning, and I'm asking her to go with me this afternoon. And she said, "Oh, I'm going." She can go off there like that, and that's pulling us apart when we should have got to come on one accord, one agreement, and work it out. So that's the way I look at it. What you got to say about that?
Well, it's about being able to balance,
Yeah.
be balanced. I hear my pastor say it to a couple. He went for years and he always put the church first before his family and in everything. And he lived to regret it. And when you gotta be able to balance it, and that's hard sometimes, but I feel like a lot of things, even with ministry, with work, he at work and I'm at work. So he get off at 5 o'clock, and most of the time I might be here when he get here, or I'm on my way or whatever. But most of the time our jobs ain't, unless I want to go on a vacation and want him to take a bunch of time off, and he ain't finna do that. He's saving that for some reason. No, but but with, like my husband say, with ministry, you got to be able to balance it. I think with COVID, and I hope it helped a lot of our leaders in church and ministry, that been able to really get things in perspective.
Yeah.
That some of the things that we were doing, and God wasn't requiring it. You know, we just had a full. Your plate was full, and so you were so much in church. I ain't gonna say ministry, because our ministry goes wherever we go. But we were so much in. It can be so. Church can be so overwhelming with stuff that God really ain't even concerned about till we'll get people just to be it's time to go to church. We got to do this today. We got to do that. Not from just how we feel, but you got to be able to put things in perspective and put first things first. Because I'm faithful. We are faithful to ministry. You know, if I know we in assignment and we got to be somewhere, me and Victor used to plan our vacations around ministry.
Jesus.
You know, this was going on. We just didn't go haul off and plan vacation and we know we had revival. Yeah. We wouldn't go plan vacation. We know the women's conference or the men. We planned that we're gonna probably continue and always do that. But you got to take time for family, because we come back here together in this house and them folk go on their way. We want each other to be happy. So God will show you how to do it. So that's how we do it.
June,
well, I think Janice and them said so much. They said so much.
I would say, yeah, and it's kind of wild how the church seems to be like at the root or the center of spending time with our families. One thing that we had to learn how to do is to say no. And not just blunt no, but sometimes gracefully decline.
Yeah.
Because my wife, she she loved God with every fiber in her body. However, she was at a point where it's like a church girl. You know, if the doors of the church is open, she felt like you should be there. And I don't care if it's 8 days a week, 25 hours a day. That's just, she was just, church. So I would go, but when you do that, you go and you don't want to be there. And, so you're just not focused and all of the other kind of, things that go on in your mind. But now, thank God we're at a place now that we do everything together. We love going to church on Sunday mornings. We just love, we go to the mailbox together. 20 yards up the driveway. We do everything together as a family. So, and that has made a tremendous difference in our relationship and in our home.
Oh yeah.
And I am in agreement with what June said, because when we were like, when I was doing all of that, I just felt like it was God and I was serving God, and but it almost literally made me lose a lot. And I just remember this story it's a story about David, when David goes to Ziklag. He's staying in Ziklag and he's fighting with he's helping the Philistines, and they're about to go to battle against Israel. And David says he's ready to help them because he's with that king. I think it's Amalek. I'm not even sure, but he's with the king and he's trying to help him. But the king's men say, David's going to go, he's going to turn on us. Like, no, he can't fight with us. And so the king tells David he can't fight with them. And I'm just paraphrasing the story, but he says he can't fight with them. And so he sends David back to Ziklag where they were staying. And when David gets back to Ziklag, it's burned. Ziklag is burned. They have taken the children. They have taken the wives. They have taken their stuff. And now David is standing there, and the men that are with him, they're mad at David because now they've lost. And David is like, he has to go and seek God now. And when David seeks the Lord tells him to go up, that he's going to recover all. And so David goes and, you know, those who know the story, he's able to recover everything that he lost. But the point of me telling this story is that David was fighting another man's battle. It wasn't even his. He was trying to fight somebody else's battle.
My God.
In this moment, he almost lost everything he had because he wasn't where he really should have been. And so when I look at that, me myself, like trying to just help other people and do all those things and not taking care of where I am, leaving a door open for the enemy to come in, it happens. And I think that that's a lot that happens in with relationships and with just church period. Sometimes we're so caught up that we end up missing it and not taking care of our own. And so I learned the hard way. And because of that, it has just, when we got to Mount Zion, one of the things that Pastor Jackson told us was God established the family before he established the church. He said he established the family in Genesis and the church in Acts. And that stuck with me because I had never heard anything like that. I'm up here saying, well, we're going to miss tonight because, you know, Makai has a basketball game and I'm feeling some sort of kind of way. And I thought, why am I feeling some sort of kind of way? Because I want to go and support my son because what I put in him, I got to grow him up. And a lot of times the reasons that children are resentful of their parents in church, like pastors' kids and things like that, they haven't spent the time with their own kids because they're so busy doing for somebody else. And you got to take care of home. And I'm telling you, that's what we do. That's what we do. We taking care of home.
Yep. Wow. Y'all see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's
you get ready to start preaching right now.
I
You know
love
what I'm saying? Hey, you say tree, she's gonna talk about the vine. I'm the vine, he's the branch. And you know what I'm saying? But for real, in all honesty, I would tell anybody, because one of the things that she used to live by, and she still do, is that she used to say that, you know, well, if I take care of God's business, he'll take care of my business. So, but you know, taking that pretty much out of context or out of the real meaning of it, in my mind, I'm thinking like, well, I'm God's business. I'm God's business. But because I didn't communicate that, you know, if I had communicated it, then maybe it would have made a difference. But however, we went to your mailbox today.
He's silly. Silly. But it's the truth. It's the truth. And I say that even to, I'll say for later. Go ahead, Tasha.
But I just want to kind of just share, just, you know, kind of to piggyback off of what you shared. Because so my third daughter and her husband, they make it a point every month to have time that they go out and it's just them. And with me being here with them for this brief moment, you know, they've been able to do that. You know, here it is, they have children now, but they're still making time for themselves. And that's something that I feel is truly, truly important.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is
so,
true.
Tasha is up there being a nanny.
All right.
And I'm loving every minute of it.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So, and I think the wards have kind of touched on this just a bit as far as balancing marriage, ministry, and work. So, Ayana, June, is there anything else that you all want to add to that?
Put God first. Put God first no matter what, because at the end of the day, God is God. So you put God first. And then family is next.
Yeah.
I literally, just because of my family, like I made a move, a job move, a career move. And it was so huge for me because I loved where I was. I loved what I did, but I needed to be with my baby. I needed to be on his schedule, and I did it. And good God, I love it. I'm just saying, I am a kindergarten teacher at heart. I don't first grade teacher at heart. I don't know why. I should have been a first grade teacher a long time ago.
Nursery start
I'm
teaching.
just saying because I love my babies. This has been the best 2 weeks of my life. These kids have just, it's amazing.
Sometimes stepping out of your comfort zone really
Absolutely.
will elevate you to another level.
And one of the things, let me tell you this. Let me say this. Years ago, I took this job and my husband told me not to take the job. But I took the job because I said, oh, I'm going to be able to minister and, oh, this is going to be a great job. It was the worst job ever. I stayed there for maybe a few months, begging June every day, please let me quit this job. Please let me quit this job.
The job wasn't bad. It was the management.
The management was horrible, crazy,
but I still
all of those things. But anyway, he did.
No.
He did. And let me not say crazy, but I will say they had some issues, like really bad issues. Yeah. And so I begged him every day to let me quit the job. When I got out of their job, I'm telling you, I said I would never make a move without listening to my husband. And so when we talked about me moving jobs this time, he was so for it. Like he was just, I think he is probably my biggest cheerleader, buying everything, like doing all this stuff for my classroom. It's been unreal. And now I see, I mean, it was just the right move for me. It was just the right move. I needed to make sure that we were going to be okay financially, you know, everything was going to be good. And it was the best move. It was the best move. So
that's great. That's wonderful.
Now I would say,
that's it.
Yep. I would say, like God first. God is always first. However, you have to know how to put God first.
right.
Because like I was saying earlier, you know, if you take care of God's business, God gonna take care of your business. But when you're talking about you and your husband, you know, your husband or your wife is God's business. So
Right.
God first. So what I do every morning, I get up, the house is quiet, you know, I get in my word. And then after I get in my word, then I'm in worship until I walk out of the door. So when you spend time with God, before you do anything else, when I wake up in the morning, before I even want to know what the weather gonna be, before if somebody texts me while I was asleep, before I hear anybody's voice, I want to see what the word for today is. So the first voice that I need to hear every day is the voice of God. So when I wake up every morning, that's the first thing that I do. I get my phone and I look at the word for today, and then I move forward. So I start that time by, you know, spending time with God, and the majority, you know, if you do that, you know, God can show you some things before your day really gets started. You know, so it's just spending time with God, and that's, you do that first, and your balance, it'll fall into play with your family and your work.
And I think that's order too, because once June does that as the head of our house, before he walks out this door, and even when Makai was here, he literally laid hands on every single one of us in the morning. He does that and prays for us before we even wake up out of the bed. I wake up to him laying hands on my forehead, praying for me. And then once he goes throughout his day, he's calling me or texting me, telling me something he read or something that the Lord has spoken to him. And to me, that is so powerful. Like that is just, it sets my day. And so I think that that's important too.
Oh, that is great.
Ain't nothing like it.
That is great.
So my next question to both of you all, both couples, is who inspires you and why? I'm gonna go with the Wards.
Well, I I feel like, you always should have somebody that you kind of like watches from like a far off, you look up to, you respect, and I would have to say is my our pastor, Reverend John R. Pugh, and his wife, our First Lady Charlotte Pugh, that you know we we they are really down to earth, and they let us know that, I mean, when we have problems, we can talk with them, and they are very, like I said, down to earth, and listen, and let us do this talking and solving our problems out. Like you go to a psychiatrist or someone like that, you lay on the sofa, they let you be doing the talking, and they be doing the writing on the stuff, and that's how everything starts to work out and go on like that. And they have been a and still is a big part of our life of showing and helping our marriage, because we just stand back like a sniper far off and watches them, not telling them everything, but we picks up off, use some of the nuggets that we get from them and them and that, and everything. But he always tells you got communication is key, and let it out, because I used to be a kind of one that, like June has said, myself, if things don't seem like it's going right, I just shut down. I won't say nothing. And that's what it was, it was like that. So I would think, sad to say, my pastor and first lady is one that is a good inspiration to our marriage and stuff. Because a lot of on my side of the family, that there's a lot of them that haven't made it to 26 years together. And
Mm.
so if I would have to say, that would be the couple that I see run up. Now I picks off different little nuggets from every couples that I see, that I
Right.
have to talk to and stuff. Like
Mhm.
when we was at y'all birthday party, we was talking to the Kingsbury,
Hmm.
and they are good ones too that we could talk on this, because I love Hassan and his wife. They are
Mhm.
very, and I picked up some little nuggets from them, just sitting talking to them, and got some from the Lewises, the Hayeses. It's just little ones that you get a little bit from here, a little bit from there, and you got a whole meal on your plate.
You got it.
So that's that's what I do and what we do. So
I love it.
Yes.
And I agree. He named them. He named all the couples that I would name, but mainly our pastor, because if he helped save our marriage,
yes,
Mm.
and I can credit that to him. And which is my uncle. They were the first ones I called. I'm getting ready to go off. I'm getting ready to kill somebody. I'm getting ready to go to jail. I'm getting ready. And by the time they came and finished talking, I'm sitting there looking like I felt like I had done something wrong. I said, "Well, I will be." But yes, they really. I'm inspired by them. They got a powerful testimony. Um, and if God did it for them, He truly is doing it for us.
yes,
And
Yeah.
I am, yes, I always um say that I'm always inspired by Ayana and
Mm.
Daniel. I knew her, like, communicated with her before I communicated with them as a couple. But to me, people that have had some really, you can look at some people and you can see that where God brought them from, and they made it through this or that. God, I know you can do this for us too, and their stuff might be different from ours, but I mean, there are some powerful couples in ministry, that I learned them through church, that I know their story, and when I see them, I said, "Wow, we can make it if we try." So
yes,
yes, And I bless God for them. I can't sit here and name them all, but yes, if I would say my pastor, and I love. I've grown to love Pastor Bird.
Yes.
Oh my
Her
goodness.
and her
Yeah.
husband,
Yes,
and
that's the bird.
their realness, their marriage, and I'm inspired because it's just free, and she like a bird. She just floats.
Yeah.
She got the right name, and that fellowship we had, and I just,
Wow, it was awesome.
it just make you feel like you can just be yourself,
Yes.
It ain't no get all what we thought. We went there. We was so. It was just. I mean, broke a shell fell off of me that weekend. It's
My
okay
God.
to be you. I was feeling some type of way, like with love and marriage, and am I coming? Are we coming up? And she just made me. That day, I was set free from some of the thoughts the enemy was trying to put in. So, I will forever be grateful and inspired for that
Yeah.
that program, that meeting. It just loosed some chains that I was holding on to.
Wow.
I said, look at this lady, she the best. It's okay to let your hair down and just be, and be. It's okay. So I bless God for I'll never forget her, and
Yes.
and her husband
Yes.
as
Yep.
well.
I agree.
Yep. Yep.
I agree. Go ahead.
I would say my biggest inspirer is my wife. She encourages me, and
Wow.
she pushes my confidence. It's just so many. I mean, then Pastor Jackson. Wow, Pastor
Yeah.
Jackson, Apostle, and Lee and Carolyn Fames,
Yes.
uh, the Wards,
Wow.
um,
Thank you.
Pastor Hassan, and Dr. Francis Kingsbury.
Yes.
Um,
There's so
I'm
many.
telling you,
We'll mess up if
yeah,
we tell
yeah, it
names.
is so many.
But I
Yeah.
can tell you, I can say at some hard, at some hard moments in our lives. I just because I was gonna name the Fameses as well, because I remember her like ministering to us. And wait a minute, baby. I'm sorry. But I do remember that as well. And then I'm sorry, my little child is trying to come in on the video. But I do remember that. And so I just know that for me, June, he inspires me. And I say this because, and that wasn't even rehearsed. Like, really, in my mind, I was going to say June. And the reason is because um, of his relationship with God, and the time that he takes. Like, I admire stuff like that. If he can call me and tell me that he felt like God said something, and I know it's God, and then sometimes he'll think something and I'll be thinking the same thing too. It just amazes me. So I think that and it's been hard. So, we're in a good place, but it was hard getting here. It was hard, sometimes it was hard. It was a challenge. So I don't want to paint this picture that it's always been perfect flowers, because it wasn't. But we made it through. And I think even with the transitioning of our kids, that even brought us even closer together, because we were able to be there for one another. And where because statistics show that a lot of relationships end, ours got stronger. And so I think that was another piece that just glued us even closer together, because we needed one another and we were there for one another. And so if I was having a moment, he may be okay at that moment, so he was able to lift me up. Or if he was having a moment, I may be okay, and then I would be able to lift him up. So these are things that I feel like have made us stronger through the years.
So let me also add, I know the question wasn't asked of me, but I want to say that over these past 26 plus years, and I say plus because I was there the first day June Lewis laid eyes on Ayana. This is when it was just him at the mall. But and to hear Ayana say, when God, has told June something and he relays it to her. And it's like that day that June saw Ayana, June told me that's gonna be my wife. And I'm like, man. But here it is 26 years later, 26 plus years later, and it's come to fruition. And I can, I've been married. And if I, or when God brings my husband, my next husband, I can honestly say that you all are a couple that, I look up to you now because I've seen the trials and tribulations that you all have gone through, and I've seen how God has brought you to where you are now. I've seen the growth.
Yes.
I've seen things that other people haven't seen, and it has truly been inspiring to me as an individual. And I know it'll be even more inspiring to me and my better half. So I digress. And I will go ahead and kind of wrap things up, but I do want to ask each of you all to just share a few words of encouragement for marriages, or for those individuals that are engaged, that are seeking to be married, to just what words of encouragement do you have to offer?
Go back and watch this session.
Watch this section.
I would say to put God first, as June said, and we've said it multiple times, but putting God first, and just recapping actually what we have said today, putting God first, respecting your spouse. I often think that it's my job to make him like to meet whatever the Lord has for him. It's my job to push him in those areas and help make those things happen, because I'm his helpmate. And we work this thing together called life. So I think making sure you make time for one another. And this is an area that I absolutely struggle on. And I say this in all transparency. So for me, and I laugh about it all the time, but it's the truth though. I call myself undiagnosed, but separating like from my kids for the one-on-one time with me and June. When he said we do everything together, it's all of us together. And so making that time for him one-on-one, one-on-one, I'm going to work on that. Because it's bad. We're taking an anniversary trip, and it's got to go.
And the
the
sad thing about it is I don't have a problem with it.
I asked him because I was like, well, babe, what do you think? And, just going far without them is just stressful to me. And so when he said he wanted me to go, I was like, what? So y'all pray for me in that area. But really putting God first, respecting your spouse, and making sure you're making time for one another. And communicating.
Happy wife, happy life.
That's good. All right, the word.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Did you all want to add?
Yeah, I would say, put God first, and you have to be in that right relationship with God. Marriage is teamwork. It takes two. It's not just something you do. You do it. You get married, and then the work begins.
Yes.
The work begin is something that you have to do. It's work. Or we could come in here and just like we just living in a house, but realize that it's teamwork. It takes two. It's about sacrificing. If I'm able to sacrifice for one another, Vic ought to want sometimes sacrifice for what I want, and I sacrifice for what he wants, because we two different people. We might want the same thing, but not at the same time. So
I love it.
sometimes, you know, you got to be able to sacrifice for one another. And it takes a lot of that, you know, to give up yourself for him, and then he give up himself for me. I think that's a big thing. It's about coming together and teamwork.
I love it.
And touching and agreeing. You know how powerful that is? That's why the enemy can't take the marriage. He's coming up against marriages because he know if we could ever get together, it ain't no telling what God can do through us.
That's the truth. The Bible said one can put 1,000 to flight, but two can put 10,000.
10,000.
Right.
And that's a lot of flighting.
That's right.
That's a lot.
I think I would say, because I mean, your guys have already said everything that is what is true. When Janice has said everything. Now I'm gonna say, when you marry the partner that you marry, make sure you marry to them. Don't let nothing and no one in between you and them. Bring no outside stuff in. Cut no outside stuff out. I don't play with this right here. I'm not gonna be over my side of the family or nobody else. When I'm talking to anybody, family or not, when they bring up Janice Ward's name, my ears goes up, because I want to make sure I'm hearing every word that's coming out your mouth about, what you get ready to say. And it's what God have joined together, so don't let nobody put asunder or put it in the stuff, because the devil wants to destroy. Keeps what inside in your marriage in your marriage. Don't go
I
out
love
here
it.
and share no immature stuff. That's what I'm saying about when you get married, you need to make sure you are mature. Don't go out here like when you were 17, 18 years old and you won't marry to nobody. You tell I tell my boy about, yeah, I had a good time tonight with it, or this and that. Whatever you got married, now you are grown, you're supposed to be mature, you keep your stuff between you and your wife and stuff like that, because all the outside stuff, and once you put everything that the Lewises just said, and what Janet just said, and what you just heard in the pot of soup, you got a beautiful, beautiful soup.
Cooking.
Yep.
You cooking with soup, as they say. You cooking.
I love it.
So those
I love it.
that is married on this call, and the one that looking forward to getting married, make sure that the one that you do see and you got something going on, clicking on together, go ahead on and get married. Take a chance. Go ahead and make it work. Just tell them how you want it, and they gonna tell you how they want it, and you put that ingredient together and go ahead on. Because other than that, just keep on going and going and going. You're wasting a lot of time.
I love it.
Yeah.
Very good.
Did you have any last words, Mike?
This has been extremely good, I would definitely say.
What were you about to say?
I would say know who you are.
Mm.
Yes.
Know who you are, because if you don't know who you are, then the person that you're getting married to, they don't know who you are.
Mm.
Know who you are.
Yes.
And work on yourself. Get yourself together, because you don't want to come together and and unite with somebody, and you bring in unnecessary stuff, they bring unnecessary stuff, then it causes unnecessary problems. Then you got to go through all of this stuff and try to get all that stuff worked out in yourself first.
Yes.
I love that.
Yep.
That's right.
I love that.
That's it.
Yep.
That is it. That's all right, June. That's it.
Well, this has really and truly been an amazing anniversary edition of Love Matters. Thanks.
Yes.
Go ahead, 26.
the Wards for joining us this evening. Thanks to
Thank you
Louis.
so
Thank y'all
much.
so much.
Thank y'all for
We're
having
glad
us.
to be here.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
y'all for having
Yes.
us.
We are
Love it, love
honored.
it, love it.
I can't wait to one day that the Kingsbury's, the Lewis, the Wards, the Birds, and the Haze's, we will be able to get it and have a little bit of fellowship, be around.
I love it.
Yeah, let's work on
Sounds
that.
like a group
Let's
trip
work
to
on
me.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, let's
Love
work on that.
it.
Yeah.
that's it.
I
All
got a
right.
little song I'm gonna play a little bit for y'all.
Ow,
Whatever you want to do.
ow.
We dedicate this to the Lewises tonight.
Happy
We dancing
anniversary.
too.
Yeah.
I love
Right
it.
then, yeah.
Yes.
That song said, uh-oh.
Hassan.
So, Janice, I want people to join you because this goes on every Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Can you tell us about that?
With love and marriage, yes.
Yes.
Yes, we come, our time is on Saturday nights, and we, it's a vision that our pastor gave us and asked us to do. And I can truly say love and marriage has really planted something in our marriage. And we can say, if it wasn't for we are right here because of that. Honestly, we in a place that we never been before due to love and marriage. And I told my pastor, if it has not been for nobody else, it was for us. And as things open up, and like we said, when things come up, weddings and different things, we kind of go ahead on and go, and we come back to those. But we're still on the books for every Saturday night. That may change, but we kind of plan to do it. But if some come up, our pastor don't pressure us. Oh, y'all got to sit at that house Saturday night and do it. He know we doing something, and we love it.
Oh, yeah.
But it just has become a part of us now. We'll tune in and let our I be messing with my brother. I said my fans be looking for me.
That's
I
right.
said something to the love and marriage, but we feel really are dedicated to it. We love doing it, and it has brought us closer with some other powerful couples, and we just elated because when the marriage is good, and then we can walk in ministry in the kingdom, we bring power to the kingdom of God to join together. So
I love
it's
it.
very important when the marriage is solid, and we walk out of here and we walk into ministry, we bringing a God in a different way.
Yes,
So
yes.
we bless God for that. We just aim to reach and let folks know you can make it through some obstacles. You can put God first, because I heard Judge Thompson. She's Attorney Thompson now. She came and did a workshop for us, and she was talking about abuse and domestic violence, and it's so much divorce in the church. It's so much divorce in ministry. How the women were coming through her back door, side door, just needed somebody to talk to, and it goes on. So we need this. The ministry. It don't mean that your marriage tore up, that you got to come on love and marriage. It means something wrong. Just come on and just
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
That's how you get everything out like we doing now. Hopefully we might have helped somebody.
Yeah.
I love it.
Lewis's the Wars. We might have helped somebody.
And that's what it's all about.
Communicate and talk.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do. Communicate and talk. Because I have
love
heard
it.
other couples say, my husband don't talk. And I was right there too. The more you do it, because I was scared of this thing being on Facebook like this. Whoa, everybody gonna see me. I can't see them or whatever. But the more you do something, the better you get at it. So that's what we're trying to do. Make everybody marriage work. That's the main goal. That's
I
all.
love it.
Yes, sir.
I love it.
Thank y'all for having us on.
Thank you all
Yeah.
so much, Tasha. Thank you for being
Thank you,
our
Tasha.
host on tonight. We
All
really,
right.
really appreciate you. The Wars, we love you.
Yes.
And Janice, do you have anything coming up that you may want tomorrow? Isn't it tomorrow that Justin is? Is that tomorrow?
With the barbecue.
Yes.
Oh, that yeah. He made it today, and the order he took orders, and it's over. It's sold
Okay.
out.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
up here dizzy right now from eating that barbecue. I'm trying to
I
figure
love
out
it.
why I can't see. I was just tasting it while he was making it. He was had me sampling enough of this, and I'm sitting here swimming there. But we thank everybody for helping him out with something he want to do. He's a cook. He loves to cook. But
I love it. I
and
love it.
Sasha, please invite us to the wedding, because it's gonna be a wedding.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's
Come
gonna
on
be
with it,
a
come
wedding.
on.
He almost to you. It's just round the bend.
Yeah.
I love it.
Wait for God.
Definitely. You will receive an invitation. I promise you.
Yes.
I promise you.
Okay. All right.
Wonderful. Again, thank you all. Angela, I'm going to take your advice. I hear you. I hear you. We do some date nights. So I don't want to say we always save the kids, but we do some date nights. It's just when it may be an extended period of time that I have some issues with. But anyway,
I'm with you though, Miss Miles. I'm with you.
love you all. Thank
Yes.
you.
Love
Good
y'all.
night.
Happy
Good night.
anniversary. Take care.